Hello class. In this video I'm going to ask you to include random monsters in your game. And notice how I said include random monsters. I'm going to ask you to include random monsters in your game because I don't want to necessarily show you. I want you to think about it and kind of figure it out on your own. However, it shouldn't be too hard, and it isn't like something you have to figure out totally new on your own because we did do something with random cursors. So making a random monster is basically going to be done the same way. So if I show you what we have so far, here's our random cursor game. And now when I start it again, perhaps I'll get a different cursor. Let's see. And here's my other cursor. Okay, so one time I got a red circle cursor, the other time I got the pink face cursor, or reticle, gun sight, if you will. Okay, so I showed you how to do that, and you've incorporated that into your game already. But now we want to also do not only random cursors, but at the same time random monsters, which it should look like this. And of course, you use whatever monsters you want to use. Okay, I didn't get a random monster, so let's play it again. That is the random monster game. I'm just not getting any random monsters. Let's try that again. Oh my goodness. Yahoo! And so there you have random monsters. It was my picture sometimes coming out, obviously, and then a softball coming out sometimes. And how do you do that? Well, again, I don't want to show you exactly how, but this was the code for the random cursor. Okay, so over here we have inside the initialize game function, we're making monsters, and we're also setting our cursor. Initially over here, we just had cursor equals, or cursor as the name of the symbol, and as the linkage or the name of the class, we had just cursor with a capital C. Then I said, let's make it random. One cursor we create it, one cursor we edit it from the internet. So I had you name it cursor C for create it and cursor E for edit it. And you can name your monsters whatever you want over there, hint hint, and then you have to write some code somewhere around here to do something like this, where we're getting a random number generator, and when we say math floor, it means round it down, and math random always goes from 0 to 1. So if you want or I'm sorry, 0 to less than 1. So if you want it to up to 0 to 1, you have to multiply by 2, because then it goes up from 0 to 1.999, but we're taking the floor of that, and the floor of 1.999 is 1. So really this statement right here gives you random numbers from 0 to 1. And so to get the cursor, if it's a 0, use this cursor. Otherwise, well, the only other thing it could be is a 1. Then we're going to use that cursor. So you're going to do something similar with your monsters. You'll obviously have to have 2 in your library and write the code to make it work. Okay, so I don't want to give you any more of a hint there. I think I've given you more than enough and everyone should be able to do it. One thing I would like to add is this is kind of not the exact right way to do it using code. If you're just going to use two monsters or two cursors, I guess it's okay. But usually when we do things like this, I think about it, if you're playing a first-person shooter game, Call of Duty or whatever, Fortnite, I don't know, PUBG, any Battlefield, Battlefront, any type of game like that, you don't just have two different gun sites you can use. There's many. So what they usually do is they put this in a list called an array, and they basically just call it, gun site or reticle. And then in that array, there's a bunch of different elements, and then you index into the array and choose the element out of it. Like you could just say, go to the array called reticle and give me the fifth element in the array. That'll be my gun sight. So that's the fancier, better way to do it. But in our game programming half-year course, we try and keep things a little bit light and more fun. So in this instance, we'll do just like we did with the random cursor and keep it simple. So please incorporate at least one extra monster in your game so that you have two so you can make it go randomly. Obviously, if you're going to say, gee, this is a great idea and I really like it, and I want to use three random monsters, well, then maybe this would be a three. And then over here, this of course is for the cursors, but you're going to do something similar for the monsters. Over here, you would have an if random number equals, or random monster number, whatever, equals 0, assign whatever monster. And then you can say else if random number equals 1, do this monster. And then else, the only other else would be 2, and then you do that monster, and that's how you end up with 3, and so on and so forth. So include the random monsters, make it look good, have some fun. Thank you very much.